Welcome back for another episode of It's Kai Jade. I am Kai Jade, of course, and on today's episode, we'll be taking a look into the recent lawsuit filed against Bill Cosby by Lily Bernard. Now, Bernard did have a small role on The Cosby Show back in the early 90s. However, it just ended terribly wrong after she went under the mentorship of Mr. Cosby. So yeah, we're going to get into it because this is interesting. Welcome on back in. So, according to CNN as well as other news publications, actress Lily Bernard filed a lawsuit against Bill Cosby on Thursday, alleging he drugged and raped her in Atlantic City in or around August of 1990. Now, there was an article that was done by the New York Daily News in May of 2015 where Cosby's same accuser, Lily Bernard, did come forward with lawyer Gloria Allred to allege the same thing. However, the difference between the two is that on the article in May of 2015, Bernard alleges that the drugged incident and the raping incident happened in 1992. So there is about a 2-year gap between what's said in the lawsuit based off of what she came forward and stated with attorney Gloria Allred at the time. There was some sort of press conference, and it does seem that on this particular lawsuit, Gloria Allred is not representing Bernard anymore. Now she is being represented by lawyers from the law firm of Mearson Law PLLC, Jordan Merson and Jordan Ruski. Okay, they are her lawyers for the case. But even on her recount of events back in 1992, she does talk about how she was led out to Atlantic City with Bill Cosby. She also talks about how Bill Cosby said that he saw her as one of her kids. And then after the alleged incident happened in 1992, she also stated that Cosby told her that she was dead to him at that point. Okay, now, of course, back in 2015, the whole point for her to come out about this was also to show her then 6-year-old daughter that she needs to learn to stand in her truth. And she also wanted to tell her story about how she survived Bill Cosby's alleged drugging and raping of me. But her exact statement back then was, "I've survived Bill Cosby's drugging and raping me." Okay, now I will post a picture of the part that she played in the Cosby Show. She was the pregnant Miss Minifield. I believe it was only one episode. I'm not sure how many episodes she played, but either way, I will post the picture. She also talked about back in 2015 how she became highly suicidal after this abuse from Cosby. And she also talked about how she sought help and was hospitalized. When she was discharged from the hospital in the summer of 1992, she was assigned to a trauma therapist who counseled her intensively, initially 5 days a week. And the focus of her therapy was based off of what Bill Cosby did to her. Okay. Now, she also stated again during that time that she still suffered panic attacks and night terrors as a result of what Cosby did to her. Now, there isn't a statute of limitations for rape in New Jersey. It goes back and forth between New York and New Jersey. At the time, she lived in New York, but she went to go see Cosby at the Trump Taj Mahal in New Jersey. So I'm not sure exactly how that goes when it pertains to jurisdiction. But either way, it looks like none of those two states have a statute of limitations. So I'm assuming she just did it based off of where she was living at the time. Okay, and I believe she still lives in New York right now, and Cosby lives in Pennsylvania. Of course, I will blur out the part in the lawsuit where they give Bill Cosby's exact address because no, hers as well. But anyway, moving on to the now charges brought against Bill Cosby based off of the lawsuit that has been filed. Now, the lawsuit was filed yesterday based off of the date on the lawsuit. I'm assuming it was typed up and finished on October the 13th. Okay, but anyway, so they are demanding a jury trial. And I'm assuming for this to even be heard in court, it has to exceed the amount you want in damages. It has to be past $75,000. So in this particular situation, she is asking, and her lawyers as well, are asking for $25 million in damages, which is why they are demanding a jury trial because of the amount that they are seeking to get. Okay, so based off of what has been put in the lawsuit, this particular lawsuit states how this happened in 1990, in or around, like pretty much what CNN said. But like I said, this may definitely be called into question whenever this does go to jury trial, because of the matter of, there's an article that says she stated it happened in 1992, and then we have this lawsuit that says it happened in 1990. But either way, Bernard alleges that Cosby sexually assaulted, abused, and committed battery against her. Again, the two first met on the Cosby Show back in July of 1990, and at this time is when Cosby offered to be a mentor to Miss Bernard to help her acting career. Now, over the course of those next several weeks after they met, Cosby mentored Bernard by running theater exercises, also asking her questions as if he was like some sort of paparazzi or whatever, to ask about her life, etc., etc. And also telling her that if she followed his direction, that he would feature her on the Cosby Show with some sort of speaking role. Okay, now, during his time as her mentor, Bernard recalls Cosby talking about the importance of virtue and talked to her about the sexual pressures in Hollywood, but at the same time, he insisted that she call him daddy. This goes back to the original article in 2015 where Bernard recalls Cosby saying that he saw her as one of his kids. So still weird. During one of the practice sessions in July of 1990, Bernard recalls Cosby grabbing her by the ribcage without permission in an attempt to help her with her breathing during a theater exercise. And then she recalls him moving upwards and grabbing and squeezing her breast. In August of 1990, Cosby enticed and persuaded her to come visit him in New Jersey, again at the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. Now, Bernard believed, as well as believes now, that Cosby was setting her up to be drugged by having her travel to New Jersey. Now, while in the suite at the hotel, Cosby offered her a non-alcoholic drink since she stated she didn't drink alcohol. Bernard recalls feeling dizzy as well as vomiting after consuming the beverage, and then she recalls Cosby leaving the room to say, quote unquote, that he was going to get her something to help with the vomiting and dizziness. But after he left the room, she ended up losing consciousness. When she awoke a bit, she felt Cosby undressing her. However, she remained too dizzy to stand or move her body. When Bernard said no, she remembers Cosby still continuing to undress her. When she became more conscious, Cosby was then in the process of raping her. After losing consciousness once more, she was alone and ended up, she remembered being alone as well as being naked in a jacuzzi tub in the room. Okay, there wasn't any more context to what happened the second time that she regained consciousness, but it just skips over to the next morning. She remembers Cosby dragging her to a sitting position, getting her dressed, and giving her money so that she can take a car back to New York. So they are suing on, her and her lawyers are suing on 5 counts, like I said, in the amount of $25 million. So we have the counts are, of course, first count assault, second count battery, third count intentional infliction of emotional distress, fourth count false imprisonment, and this goes to the plaintiff of stating that Cosby unlawfully restrained her through force, and his unlawful restraint was without legal authority or justification, and it was against Miss Bernard's will. Of course, the plaintiff in this case is Miss Bernard. The defendant will be Bill, it will be Bill or William Cosby. Okay, and of course, the 5th count in this particular lawsuit is for punitive damages. Of course, since this lawsuit was just filed yesterday, Bill's team has not came out with any sort of response, nor has he said anything. So whenever that happens, I will update you guys and let you know. But again, thank you so much for listening in on this little snippet. If you want to hear more from me, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time.